Hey guys! In this video you will learn why it's better to use standard stabilization when shooting travel videos, why you should record at 30 FPS and why shooting with a single lens is enough and much more. Let me save your time and tell you how to use your camera better and faster when traveling. I love to travel and shoot video and I only use one camera and one fixed lens. But how do you manage to capture the whole travel experience with just one lens? It's very simple, all you need is 20 or 24mm lens and believe me, for a beautiful video this is a sufficient focal length. When you go to a trip to another city, to the mountains or just for a walk, you expect to relax, but if you have a camera with a big zoom lens around your neck, or you have a bag with different lenses, you won't relax. The big lens will always distract you and remind you of yourself. Moreover, people will be looking at you all the time and will not be able to relax. And the best shots are when people don't notice the camera and do their own thing. My Samyang 24mm f1.8 lens doesn't distort the people in the frame that much. It's not big, it's enough to capture absolutely anything I want. If you have a cool event in front of you, a zoom lens will make it hard for you to capture the shot quickly because in your head you will be choosing at what focal length you want to capture the event. And when you have one lens, you have no choice but to press the record button. Also, your camera's sensor will be clean if you are not constantly changing lenses. And don't forget that the most important thing in a good video is the scenario. Look at these bloggers like Mr. Beast and Track Trendy. One shoots with everything and other with his iPhone. There is no even cool color correction. There is different light and there is no beautiful framing. But despite this, people still watch these videos. I shoot with the Sony a7 IV and in my travels I tend to shoot with the S-Log 3 because of the wide dynamic range. But in reality it's often distracting. After all, to properly expose the S-Log 3 you need to constantly watch the numbers on the exposure. If the number is below plus 1.3, your video will be dark, and if number is over plus 2, your video will be very bright, and all this is constantly distracting. Of course, I'm almost used to it, but actually if you shoot everything in picture profile off or in s-cinetone, you will still get a beautiful and saturated picture. In these profiles it will be easier to expose the frame because you won't be distracted by the little exposure meter numbers at the bottom. You will immediately observe the exposure of the whole frame on the screen. Especially these profiles are already contrasty and you won't have to color grade the video for a long time. Sony in picture profile off mode produce very saturated colors that are great for shooting landscapes, but I don't recommend using this mode indoors because it's colorful and makes your skin very orange. For indoors it's better to use s-cinetone. In my travels I have tried all kinds of stabilization and I will say that standard stabilization works best on Sony cameras, especially if you are in motion. It looks natural and doesn't have any jerks. Such videos seems alive and adds a bit of action. If you walk on the street with active stabilization, after such a video the viewer's eyes will get tired. In my opinion, active stabilization can be used only if you stand still and shoot something. But if you start fast moving the camera from side to side, for viewer's eye it will not be pleasant. In any case, I prefer standard stabilization because it seems to me the most natural. I also want to remind you that if your camera supports 10-bit, then it's better to shoot in this format to make it easier to color grade the video or put shadows out of it or work with highlights. I have a 64 UHS tooth and disc extreme card, and I try to shoot in the highest bitrate in XAVCSI 4K format, but this card only holds 30 minutes of video in this format. So I try to capture only the most beautiful and interesting places while traveling. I usually shoot short videos of 10 seconds, but I will tell the truth that if you shoot video in s-cinetone in 8-bit format in 4K and normally expose the picture right in the camera, your videos will be of excellent quality and you will not have to color grade the video in post. I always use a HIDA ND filter from 3 to 7 stops for shooting video, but it's actually very wide in diameter and I'm not entirely happy with it. Its diameter is 67mm and it goes beyond the edge of my lens. This was the only diameter HIDA had when I chose this filter. It has no color shift, but sometimes at 24mm at 7 stops I notice a lot of vignetting and I don't like it. That's why I will soon replace this filter with NISI ND filter 1 to 5 stops. If your camera is not designed for video like the Sony FX3, A7S III or ZV-1, You will have rolling shutter and it will be not pleasant to watch, especially with the fast camera turns. To avoid this, shoot at 30 fps and the quality of your video will be better. Also, if you record your voice, don't use the shotgun microphone, it attracts attention. It's better to use a small transmitter under your shirt. This way your camera will be more compact and you will be more comfortable to use it. These were my important travel tips, and if you like it, then don't forget to like this video.